decided that I'm a big baby.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it all that data you're trying to collect?
It's the fact that I used to be really or good and okay with the cold, and the last couple of days I am freezing. Like it is. I see these pictures and video about Snowmageddon 2.0 and whatever all the ice and everything else. Like, dude, yesterday it was 30. They said the low. My phone said the low was 37, but I know that at some point I looked at it and it said it was 35. And even and today right now it's only 42, and I'm just like I'm thin blooded, whiny ass baby.
Big
I don't want to
rat.
say the
And
other word, but
we'd have to apologize to all of our East Coast friends and down south that are currently experiencing snowpocalypse, and send all your hate mail to Mike at the livewithmikeandbrent.com or something like that. I don't know.
what, whichever one. Don't worry. And if you know me, have known me long enough, I won't ever see the email. The, yeah, so it's cold. The dogs are actually into a new routine, which is kind of crazy. We've got a couple of dogs. We've got one dog named the same as yours. We've got a Murphy in the house, and we've got
Yeah.
Grizz. And Murphy is the 3-year old puppy, and Grizz is the old dog that's just been around for a while. And Grizz has gotten into the habit of limping around the house. But when we go out on walks, he trots around like everything is good to go. And you're kind of like, hold on, man. Like you limp around the house for a little bit of sympathy, and then you go out on the walk and just trot along.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Um,
that's what they
so
do.
dogs will manipulate you in the
They
same
will
way that.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's just what they do. It's just what they do. Well, we'll have to apologize to everybody. Yesterday's show was really rough. The news stories were really bad. AI let us down.
I enjoyed yesterday's conversation.
Did you?
But
Okay.
I always enjoy the conversation.
Yeah.
I think the thing that we're seeing, is um, a lot of repetitive news, just
Yeah.
reshaped in a different way. I
Yeah.
What I appreciate though about the way that Gemini has handled the task that it has been given is the uh, the humor.
Yeah.
Um, like as stupid funny as it is, and hey, I like the Three Stooges too. Like, what is wrong? Uh, hey Mo. So
Hey, I just found our theme song.
mm, yeah, it's better than the Doors. So
Well, okay.
depends on which one. Like
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
this is the end.
Yeah, I was just. That's probably not the best one. It's just the beginning. It's just the beginning. Well, I did actually. I created today's images off of the news story, so I did get a chance to glance at the news stories a little bit,
Good.
just because I was mildly concerned that
Yeah.
somehow the AI was learning from itself and changing how it does things, and not as, I don't know, doing what everybody is afraid that it's going to do. So, but it looks great. I added a few things to it, to the actual instructions, and I now have links to each of the 10 stories that hit the cutting room floor. That's a good update. And yeah, and I forced it to put a little, how does this apply to L&D?
Okay. Cool.
It was doing it on its own, and then it stopped, which was odd. And so
Yeah.
I just put
Well,
in,
probably because you didn't positively reinforce it, right? I mean, the
yeah,
machine has feelings.
I know. And it reads our script. So it knew we were like not happy with it yesterday. So maybe it was really trying to step up its game.
It is. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, one of the one of the craziest things that I've seen recently, and if you haven't tried this, I know it's a little bit off topic, but that's kind of how we get warmed up here every morning. It's if you haven't tried it, next time you're on YouTube, click the little Gemini icon
Oh yeah,
and just go with it.
yeah,
It'll give you a couple of questions. It'll say, "Hey, do you want me to do this, or do you want me to do that, or you want me to do whatever?" Just go with it, and ask you whatever question comes to mind, like, "Why should I watch this?" Or "I'm a whatever. Why should I watch this?" Or "What will I get out of this?" Or "How does this
yeah,
apply?" Or whatever. Just to interact with the little Gemini button. And I think it's Ask YouTube is the way that it's presented in there. It looks like a little diamond.
yeah.
At least that's how I would describe it. And test it and just see what happens. I've been testing it with my content, and I'm actually going to go deeper into longer form video on YouTube. And I've gotten some feedback mainly from my family, that my videos are too long as it is. But when you apply Gemini and a
Yeah.
little bit of critical and creative thinking by
Asking
asking a couple
questions.
of questions, it's amazing the stuff that will come out. And it will point you directly to the clips in the video. It
That's the
creates
best
its
part.
own clips, and it's
No more
absolutely
searching
amazing.
through.
No, it makes it so that I no longer there's no reason for me to go in there and tag content or create, what would they be called? Like I think of it as a book, like chapters,
Yeah.
or so there's no need for me to create chapters, because how am I going to create a chapter designed for you? Now you can create your chapter designed for you by just asking a question. So
Yeah,
social
just asking a good
initiative, and test it. Push the button, as Brian Panzo would say.
Always just push the button. Well, as usual, just to let everybody know, we normally wait till the end, but we do this every single day, Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And we like to think that we're learning as we go, figuring out how to do this, but we're utilizing AI to be our executive producer, which is a fun way, I think, to utilize AI, and we're learning as we go, and we're sharing those learnings with you. And we're also hoping to just make the news of the day for the learning and development industry, and for anybody really that's in this side of the corporate space, a little bit easier to swallow. There's a lot of people freaked out about the changes, and half of the industry is super positive about it and really psyched. The other half is, of any industry, I think, there's a lot of fear and concern and consternation. So, if we can just have fun, kind of all going through this transition together, then our time here is well spent.
And as you go through the struggle, go way back in the Wayback Machine and remember two little children's stories that either you read or somebody read to you. Chicken Little, The Sky is Falling, and The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Like if you take both of those together and you just use them as whatever perspective you want, just take them and add a little bit of perspective and say, okay, well, is someone screaming that the sky is falling, or is somebody crying wolf? And if so, maybe I can detach from that emotional response to this thing right now and start to focus on the things that matter by asking questions, creating clarity so that you can focus on the things that are important. So this is a fun thing for us to do. I've enjoyed it. I can't believe we're already, I mean, well, one, we're 27 days into 2026, but I can't believe that we're already at the point where we're probably pushing 70 days of recording.
Really?
Yeah.
That just doesn't seem right.
Just time flies when you're having fun and doing what you're meant to do, which is yelling at clouds.
Right. Well, that is what we do. So let's make it 71 and go with today's news. How about that?
There we go.
Good morning, corporate America. It's Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. I'm your host, and that's Mike. If you're still trying to use a 2025 standard operating procedure, you're already a vintage antique. Let's get to the news that's making your instructional design degrees look like a suggestion. Our top story: Congress is finally looking into the black box of AI. And no, it's not to see why your chatbot keeps telling employees to take a nap during compliance training. The TRAIN Act was introduced this week. It's a bipartisan bill that would let content owners subpoena AI companies to see if their copyrighted work was used as training fodder. For L&D, this is a massive warning shot. If you've been scraping internal manuals or high-priced external content to build your Gen AI mentor, quote unquote, you might want to check the legal fine print before a federal subpoena lands on your desk faster than a mandatory fun calendar invite. Reference JD Supra, January 26, 2026. What say you, Mike Simmons?
I say we need Gemini to level up the humor. I'm not as entertained today as I was yesterday on some of the quick little jokes in there. I also
they're getting better.
Oh, they're getting better. Okay, you can read. Don't read ahead. It's not fun. Come on. I want you to be as surprised as I am about this stuff. I guess one of my favorite quotes is the quote from Marie Antoinette. And no, it is not about cake. It's about there is nothing new except what has been forgotten. And I wonder how much of anything that we all say really can be tied back to some other source material, yet for whatever reason we forget to share the source material. We don't like to tell people how we learned all of this stuff. Like, I mean, I've been pretty public. I graduated Arizona State University with a 2.0. Why?
They let you graduate with a 2.0?
Well, that's what I needed. I needed to graduate with a 2.0. I needed to graduate, so I got A's on my last 8 courses.
That's what I mean. So you raised it then.
I had to raise it to a 2.0 or else I wasn't going to get the piece of paper. Oh yeah. Jen doesn't like that I share that publicly, but there you go, world.
I think really all you have to do is say you went to ASU and just leave it at that.
Hey, it is number one in innovation.
No, that's right.
Number one in innovation. So anyway, share your sources. And when you share your sources, then you create space for people to go a little bit deeper into the content. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I stand on the shoulders of giants. I think most other people do. But anyway, level up the humor and get over your shit.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I think for us, so I don't even know how many people yet are actually training their own LLMs inside their businesses yet. I think there's this fantasy that companies have bought a whole bunch of their own servers or installed an LLM, and it's like they've got their own. Each one has their own custom built Gemini or custom built Copilot, and it's going through all of their content and blah blah blah. And maybe some have, but I'm thinking we're still way ahead of the ballgame. I think right now people are still trying to get budget just to pay for Copilot to add to their Microsoft license, or to pay for the extra, per employee cost of getting Gemini to each one of their employees as part of their Google Office package or whatever,
Well, and if you go out there and read what's going on X or pay attention to a lot of the other stuff that's out there, you think that everybody has gone rush down to the Apple store to pick up a couple of Mac Minis, and they've got them chained together, and they've got this amazing set of Claude bots that are getting ready to go take over the world. I mean, I thought everybody was doing that. I mean,
that's the hype. You haven't done yours yet?
You don't have a stack. You don't have a.
I got 2 or 3 right here.
Yeah.
What's your mini stack?
Yeah.
That'll be the next question at all. It's your next happy hour. Hey,
Yeah. Back in the day, it was ephedra, caffeine, and aspirin. But anyway, it was a long time ago,
that's your stack.
though.
Well, all right. So I guess that's something we should just kind of bookmark dog here or do whatever you do to save something and just keep an eye on this whole train act. First of all, it has to pass before it's anything. But I guess in general, it's it's interesting to talk about because I do see a lot of folks in our industry um, whipping themselves up into a frenzy about things about AI that are out of our control, and that's one of them. The what the business decides to buy, what content it scrapes, and how long it does it. Folks, time out. It's not. That's not our job. I mean, you know, if you're selling, if you run your own business and you develop training, and it is you are the business, and you're training your content that you're selling based on somebody else's content that they're selling, that's a whole different story. But if you're a manufacturing company and you're an L&D director of a manufacturing business, what they do, they're going to go ahead and do. And you can maybe give them a heads up and say, hey, you might want to check to see which content in the company is even you're allowed to let the LLM scrape or look at or use to train on or whatever. But it's not our job. So, anyways, story number 2.
Story number 2. Let's go.
Speaking of speed, HR visionary Josh Bersin just dropped a bombshell. He predicts that by the end of this year, 30% of HR roles could be automated by super agents. 30%. Oh, I forgot to change my picture.
Hey, double check your microphone. We got Craig saying that he thinks you might be on the wrong microphone, which might be why I didn't notice a difference when you were moving distance around. So just double check that while you're making your change back there. I met Josh a number of years ago at a SmartForce event, way back in the day, yeah, it might be because that's I'm getting the audio off of your. I'm getting the audio off of all of your connections. It might be picking up your Mac. See, we work out loud and share feedback and do all that other kind of stuff.
Checking 1, 2, 3. Checking 1, 2, 3. How's that? Is that any better, Craig?
Yeah, much better. Much better.
It's better. Okay.
Yeah, but the now we've lost the sync on your audio and video. I think maybe. Anyway, that's.
Here, let me finish the story real quick. 30%, that's basically the entire benefits department and everyone who manages the holiday party. Bersin says we're moving away from courseware, which is a fancy word for those slides you click through while muted, and moving toward dynamically generated content. Basically, the AI builds the lesson while you're failing the task. It's just-in-time learning, or as I call it, oh crap, I hope this works learning. See, I told you the humor gets a little better.
Yeah.
Maybe it's probably me. I'm not delivering it right.
No,
not delivering it the way it's written. I guess.
No. It's not the instrument. It's not the instrument. But at what point? Do we stop just kind of giving into the clickbait of 30% of your jobs will be lost before the end of this year? Like and I've gotten into forecasting a bit over the course of the past week or so, because that was the focus of the newsletter on Sunday and all of that other kind of stuff. A forecast is a prediction of something that may happen in the future. We do not have a crystal ball. Unfortunately, when, when people forecast things that reinforce ideas that we believe in and agree with, we jump on those forecasts as if they're gospel. They are not. So anyway, and I don't know if anybody's jumping on it, but I think this is part of the thing that we're working on overcoming, which is, look, slow down. Everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure it out as we go through. This isn't the first time we've ever dealt with change.
Right.
Not the
We've
first.
been here before, people.
There you go.
So, 30. So, okay. The part that he skips is, or maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe you guys have to go read the article. It's in Newswire, Josh Burson Company. It's probably the first article on his webpage today. By when? 30% by when? He predicts that, by the end of this year is what this says.
Yeah.
30% of HR roles could be automated by super agents. So, that doesn't necessarily mean that the job role will be eliminated.
Sure.
Or you will be eliminated as the person doing that 30% of HR work. It just means that there will be agents that can do the lame, meaningless work that HR departments do. So if you thought, this will be a hot take, and my apologies to anybody that this insults.
Let me brace myself, just like everybody else. Brace yourself. Hot take alert. We need to get sound effects. Hot take alert.
Totally do. Hot take alert. Yeah. Okay. If you think that your job is so important and the work that you do is so amazingly incredible, and you've studied your whole entire life to do this amazing thing that you do, if you think that AI can't do it, then you're missing reality by a long shot. I think a lot of these predictions and a lot of this fear mongering is basically telling you that the work you're doing isn't worth being done by a human. There, I said it.
Go. Good. Yeah.
I feel cleansed.
I think it's one of those things to go into. Like, okay, so if something else could do it, why not outsource it?
There's another way to look at it. Yeah.
Right. So then you go through and say, hey, here's the one that may blow most of your minds, if you're still listening at this point, is if you walk around hating the work that you do, there might be an opportunity to change that.
Hello.
Hey now. If you don't like what you're doing and you're frustrated with your job and you're frustrated with those things, what of those things can you, because you've been able to deconstruct it and break it down into small parts, what of those things can you start to outsource and automate? Maybe take ownership on your side, build out your own. Just start with a GP.
Here's a strategy. Yeah, here's a strategy I'd like to recommend for folks. The super agent thing is real. The agent thing is real. AI is real. It wasn't that long ago that we were saying things like, someday the boring tasks of your job will be fully automated and there will be a computer doing them. Well, some days today. And if you want to take control of your job, own your employability, be the one to create the super agent. If you're the one that can create the agent that does most of your work, the company is going to look at you and go, oh, there's somebody. Can he come over and do it to this other department? Hey, all that stuff that you automated in your job, in your work, and the things that you guys do, can you come over and do that for us? You're going through the process of crafting your own future, and you're taking control of what you're going to be able to do in the future. And so if you're just sitting around and waiting for that 30% number to hit and waiting for the business to implement the super agent, then you got no one to blame but yourself. So, AI yourself out of a job and into a new one.
And if you disagree with that, let us know.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to have a conversation with someone who would take the alternate perspective.
I absolutely would too. It would be fun. It'd be fun to have that conversation. And there are plenty of you out there. I know it because I read your LinkedIn posts every single day. So I know you're out there. And you're my rose-colored glasses people whom I love dearly. And I appreciate you looking through the rose-colored glasses of optimism in everything that we do. So
I thought everything that you were talking about was optimistic. Like the whole idea that I'm going to be able to outsource the crap work that I don't like doing. I can outsource it to a machine and have it take care of the mechanical Turk type stuff. Like that was that's optimistic. You mean the other side thinks that their point of view is optimistic?
It's because you're an entrepreneur, and that's how an entrepreneur thinks. If you're a cog in the corporate wheel, just working for the man, putting in your 9 to 5 and just doing your job, and that's all you do every single day, and you've gotten pretty darn good at it, and you realize, holy crap, all this stuff that I've been doing for 15 years is automatable. That's got to make you feel not so good. So anyways, there you have it. Hey, let's try something a little bit more positive. You know what's funny? Well, not funny. It's not defining each of the segment blocks or telling me like, hey, this is the human story that you asked for. This is the tech innovation story that you asked for. It's not naming the blocks the way it did before. I'm a little concerned. Oh, you know what I did differently? Sorry to go on a total tangent. I switched the Gemini thing to thinking instead of fast.
Yeah.
I made it overthink. Yeah. That's probably why it's not very funny today. I thought it was kind of funny, but it's not very funny today.
No, it's not. It's kind of lost it a little bit.
Well, all right.
Hey, on the next one, change your picture. Change your picture. Change your picture.
Oh yeah, sorry.
How's everybody gonna know that we changed to the next topic?
Yeah, right. Here we go. Well, because we don't have sound effects yet.
We don't have sound effects yet.
Oh, dang it. You know what? I forgot to open up Slack today. I hope you're chatting with our.
I've got Slack open.
Okay, good.
Craig's getting ready to shout at us. One of the things I love it. So we're talking about the Slack thing. We've not been sharing it in the video just yet because I'm still trying to figure out exactly how we want to do this.
Yeah, not exactly sure we're going to do it long term.
Yeah, well, and Craig pointed out that we're getting comments, so I'm opening up the chat. I do not see any.
I don't see him coming in.
I don't see any comments inside the live stream. We're figuring this stuff out. We're having a little bit of fun as we kind of work through Restream and work through streaming out to a couple of different channels and have those channels connected. We've got the Slack instance. If you'd like to engage in the conversation, we do have a private Slack channel that we're happy to invite you to. We just want to make sure that we don't have anything too crazy happen inside that Slack channel. But the cool thing about it is you can do threaded discussions. So we can build on comments and we can create this engagement that persists beyond what we're doing in the daily show at 6 o'clock in the morning here in Arizona. So if you'd like access to the Slack channel, if you've been listening around, we're seeing more and more viewers pop up. So we had a couple of viewers on X here just a little bit ago. Some things kind of keep popping in and out. If you'd like to engage in Slack, send Brent or me a direct message. And we'll get you into that in that system. So Craig, I am seeing comments in our Slack thing. We just haven't turned it on or shared it inside the window just yet because I'm struggling with walking and chewing gum.
Oh, you haven't turned it on? Okay, yeah. Mine still says messages from audience will display here, but that's okay.
Well, no, even that. Yeah, I don't see anything in the chat. Like, I don't know if there's any comments that are happening on LinkedIn or
yeah. And did we ever test the fact that if they're looking at my stream that I stream it out to, do those comments come back to this?
No idea.
In aggregate, or do they have to be watching your particular stream on your channels?
Yeah, I have no idea. And that's why what we're finding as we kind of get into our flow with this is this may not be the right technology for us. What we may end up doing, and I mean, there's a couple of different ways that you go. One of the great things about something like Restream and some of these other streaming platforms is you can go to multiple channels at a given time, and anybody can kind of interact in the way that they choose to. A benefit of going to a single platform as the primary platform is then we have all of the comments engaged there. And I know that Brent has seen a couple that have been doing some really interesting things on YouTube. We're streaming across all the channels, and we're on YouTube. We are on LinkedIn. We are on X. I think we're also on Facebook. Is there anybody still on Facebook?
My parents.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Schlenker. Good morning.
I didn't push it to Facebook, so I don't. I started getting too many comments on Facebook, and I don't like getting comments on Facebook. So
Yeah.
uh,
So Craig just said he commented. This is the cool thing. It's kind of like if you've ever watched the cartoon when the brontosaurus has a firecracker that snaps, hits right at the tail, and then it takes a while for it to get up to the brain. Craig commented on LinkedIn. We're going to see when it pops up in the chat, and I'm predicting we still have another 2 minutes.
yeah, it'll be here. Well, in that time, then let's go ahead and do another story while you're watching that. Let's talk about your brain. If you haven't traded yours for a GPT-5 subscription yet, yay, something funny. That was a good one. A new study from the National University of Singapore says we have 2 motivation moods. Motivation moods. Track that. First, the interrogative mood. This is powered by dopamine and curiosity. It's when you actually want to learn because you're interested. Then there's the imperative mood. That's powered by noradrenaline and deadlines. That's the feeling you get at 4:55 p.m. on a Friday when you realize you haven't finished your security awareness training. L&D pros, the study suggests we need to stop leaning on the stress button and start hacking the curiosity button. Good luck with that when your topic is third-party vendor risk management. There you have it. Do you use your interrogative mode or your imperative? Oh, I'm sorry, mood. Interrogative or interrogative? Didn't even know it was a word.
I mean, with the number of questions that I ask, most people around me, my family thinks it's interrogative.
And you are the interrogator.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like perception, I guess, as things go through. I like to think about it as curiosity. And when you ask questions, then people start to think a little bit differently, and then they get scared. It's
So
hard.
okay, so here's the deal. So and we've talked about this in the L&D and instructional design world for a long time, right? It is so how do you build that into your training that you do? How do you switch from the imperative mood where you're just shoving information down someone's throat because it's a compliance thing,
Yeah.
to creating instruction that puts the learner into interrogative mode instead of imperative mode?
So here's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm testing with, and again, we're just testing the crap out of it and working out loud as we go through it. The So this is awesome. First, Craig, thank you. We're missing the comments in LinkedIn because they're just not popping up into Restream. So we're not seeing them here, and we're not sharing them in Slack. So we've got some things to kind of work through on our end here on a Tuesday. So here's what I'm doing. I'm going to start in this video, and I'm going to start with the Whiteboard Wednesday video that I do on Wednesday, tomorrow. And I'm going to just do a quick like intro and say, I want to test something different. here's what I'm going to give you a bit of instruction on what I'd like you to do with the video. It's not going to be super exciting because it's not going to be a hook and whatever. So I might lose people immediately, and then the test is going to suck. But I'll figure something out. If you're really good at hooks, let me know how you would hook on this and then guide people. And Brent, maybe you've got some ideas around how I do it. But what I'm going to prompt people throughout the video to click the Gemini button and then ask questions like, share with Gemini who you are and what you do
Interesting.
and how do you apply it. So like I want to prompt that level of curiosity and engagement there and see what happens. And as a creator on YouTube, which I guess I am now, not an influencer yet. I haven't graduated to that level, but as someone who creates content on YouTube, what I'm interested in hearing and seeing from YouTube are what are the most what are the questions that are being asked of the content, and just to see if I can prompt people to do it and then do it, and see if there's specific content that basically says, dude just said that, like, what's it mean? And be able to go in and engage with the content, because I think, just like we were talking about a little bit earlier, I think the idea of segmenting content into chapters is no longer necessary. You now are looking at a content ecosystem, and you can kind of choose your own adventure in real time and navigate to the thing that's most important to you, rather than get stuck listening to somebody like me talk for 12 minutes or 8 minutes or 25 minutes. So
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm trying to think of how this might apply to the tools that L&D professionals use. Because from a YouTube perspective, not too many people are delivering their corporate training via YouTube. And my whole LinkedIn just crashed. So I'm just going to turn that off in case it's messing with my stream. It's almost like using the AI to take a pre-recorded video, but still make it feel live. That's what I'm kind of visualizing. So it's almost like, it's like doing this live stream here where we can interact with Wendy and with Craig in the chat, and we're doing this live. But once this is recorded and we're done and somebody else is just watching the recording, what they're missing out on is the interactivity and the ability to ask questions and whatnot. And what you're saying is that with the AI, in your case, using YouTube and the little Gemini star button, is that even though folks are watching the recording, they're still going to be able to ask questions and engage. They're going to have a different type of engagement, which I think is interesting. And it's something that we should actually be testing and looking into from an instructional design perspective as a valid option for us. So my guess would be that if we need, and this is typically what I've always done in looking at technologies in our industry, is what's being done outside of our industry, outside of our L&D specific tool set, and then how do we try our best to create the same experience. So let's just say, for example, people do start doing what you're talking about, and they're engaging with that AI agent that's connected to and that it understands your video. And so it's basically having a conversation with viewers of the recording.
Yep.
How do we end up applying that in our corporate LMSs, wherever we house our corporate training videos? How do we connect the two in order to mimic that experience? And I don't know the answer to that. It feels typically things like that, if they work out in the public and they feel like they're effective, they're typically effective. If people keep continuing to do it and they share with their friends, then it's a good thing, and we should probably take advantage of it.
It's and good conversation going on in the chat and in Slack, back and forth with Wendy and Craig around the important. Still, needing to chunk that content to make it so that people can get access to the thing that they want when they need it, and make it more accessible as you go through. I guess the way that I'm kind of thinking about it is what happens if you don't need tags anymore?
Yeah. Like the chunking can be done by the AI. Like what if sorry, don't mean to steal your thunder. You should finish your thought.
Still, I have no thunder.
I feel like I just totally interrupted you, and I'd get beaten with a stick if you
I
were.
I think it's awesome that we've gotten to this 70 something episode and you finally realize that you totally interrupt me. Thank you. Our relationship has evolved today. That was a breakthrough, Brian. Thank you.
Apparently, I interrupt everybody, so you don't feel alone. Don't feel
Oh,
left.
no, I don't feel alone. I think it's part of your charm. I think it's part of the back and forth here. Like we're leaning in. One of the comments that Craig made is about the attention span of folks, and the goldfish has entered the building, and it's not even the goldfish. It's now like minnows. Minnows probably have shorter attention spans than goldfish, and so there's so I think that back and forth helps because it starts to change scene for us, right? It creates a quick shift where people, without someone producing and going back and forth with different camera angles.
You have to just stop being so nice and just say, "Hey, Brent, stop. Let me finish."
Nah, I mean, usually it's not a very good point anyway. But on either side, I do think it's kind of interesting. Like um there do you remember back in the day when the way that you would go and read up about what a country, the history of a country would be, that you would go to this thing. You either go to a library, or if you happen to have these things in your house, you might go to the encyclopedia. And in order to get to the right part of the encyclopedia, you had to go to, and I forget all the letters that they kind of smushed together, but like A would have its own thing, and then B would have its own thing, and then like elemental P would all of a sudden be like stuck together, right? But you had this thing, and you could just kind of go, and you knew if I picked up the right book, like I picked up the book that had an L, I might be able to read something about Lima. But if I was trying to read about apples, I shouldn't have picked up the L book. Now, you didn't have to tell somebody, dude, don't pick up the L book if you're reading about apples, because the apples are in the A book. Like people started to figure it out. Okay, you're laughing. Like, is my point making somewhat sense? Or
no, it's making perfect sense. I've got this visual in my head of our family home's Encyclopedia Britannica sitting there. And I do specifically remember the L book being one of the thinner books for sure.
Well, and so, or like QRS, like they'd all kind of come together. But anyway, so and I don't know if it was because like as you got deeper into the encyclopedia, people started to get bored, and they're like, maybe we don't need to put as much.
No, it just wasn't as much content starting with those letters.
But you go through it, but you figure it out, right? You figure it out. It didn't come up with an instruction manual that says, here's how you use the encyclopedia. If you are looking for something that starts with an M, go to the M volume in order to get the piece of information. I think the same thing was going to continue to evolve here, where you start to look at it and say, oh, okay, actually, I can go, what's the acronym? Was it JG? TS, like just Google that shit or whatever, like whatever it is. But you go out there
and Google that for you.
Yeah, right. And so you go out there and Google it. And I think that's the same piece, is you're going to start to kind of interact. And then what's going to be awesome, and some people are already doing this. I mean, I know a number of folks who have conversations with their AI tool while they're driving around to help work through your thinking and ideas. You're going to be able to do these voice prompts and just, it's like, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about this, or I have a question about that. And that's why I'm really surprised that Notebook LM has not entered the conversation, because usually I take a drink every time that Craig says Notebook LM in the chat.
Oh, do we have a new game? Oh, excellent.
And that's one of those where, and now I see Craig furiously typing away, which is awesome because he's the cat with the keyboard.
Cut, paste, 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 paste.
So there's this evolution of interaction where, yes, we want things to be tagged, and what happens if something actually identifies some tags that we might not have realized that actually help people move from point A to point B a lot faster?
So is it okay for me to talk now?
Yeah, I'm just going to read Craig's comment.
Okay.
The encyclopedia idea was based. The encyclopedia is an idea. Oh, sorry. The encyclopedia idea is based on a dictionary, so the logic was already there. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's
I think Craig just said, Mike, you're right. That was
Yeah.
amazing. Nice work.
Wow. You know, we need a sound effect. Some congratulations for you being right.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
So
Sorry.
here's the thing I'm thinking. Look, this is the cool thing about it. Like, you and I are all over the place in our conversations every morning, which is totally awesome, and it's just the way it works. And I told somebody the other day, like, "Hey, we're going to try to tighten it up a little bit." Okay, we'll try, but it's not going to happen probably. Um, you know, but the fun thing is, right? So that little Gemini diamond, that's going to organize the scattered dots for us. So I want somebody to do an experiment and say, ask Gemini in the YouTube, take all of this content, chunk it, and order it in a logical fashion in how should I, what's the best way for me to consume all of the things that were discussed, or chunk each one of the topics that Brent and Mike discussed into individual topics and and then say something to the effect of create an outline and then give me a link to each section and reorganize the video and create a new video based on this outline. You know, so, and I think AI will be absolutely capable of that. So this is my thinking around the whole chunking piece, is that maybe we don't need to be the ones overthinking the chunking. Maybe the AI does the chunking for the learner based on the learner's request, based on what it knows about the learner. So if Craig goes in and asks Gemini to chunk and build a logical outline of Brent and Mike's conversation, what he gets is going to be very different than if Wendy goes in and does the exact same thing, because the AI, if the AI knows each of them individually, as well as knows the content and knows what they're asking and takes their prompt into consideration, everybody will get a custom outline of the video based on what they're looking for. Possible?
What I want to see tomorrow in the breaking news is that all of the adaptive learning startups are all going to fall apart as a result of Gemini being able to create adaptive learning for you. Yeah, well, I mean, and I think that was an attempt at tongue-in-cheek joke, and I should leave the jokes to Gemini. But I think that's the cool part about kind of where we're going is the bigger skill that we're going to want to educate our teams on and reinforce across our kids, and even reinforce when we look in the mirror, is curiosity.
Yeah.
Just asking questions. You know, we've had those, we've talked about it, beaten out of us over the years. Get back to your root cause analysis, your 5 whys. Go a little bit deeper on things that you're interested in. If you're not interested, don't get caught in the rabbit hole. But also add in some constraints, because you could end up being your own worst enemy in this instance, where you just go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the thing. And so this is where things like Pompodoros can be really helpful.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time left, but there is one story left that we should probably hit. Finally, A look at the pharmaceutical industry. They are ditching batch manufacturing for continuous production and using digital twins, virtual replicas of their labs, to train workers. This means training is no longer a one off event. It's a continuous stream of data. If the digital twin detects a mistake in the virtual lab, the human gets a training nudge in the real one. It's like the Matrix, but instead of learning Kung Fu, you're learning how to collaborate a bioreactor without blowing up the New Jersey suburbs.
Wow, that took a dark turn.
I don't think it's a dark turn. I think it's a real I think it is real tech. It's one of the things that virtual reality is good for. But now that AI exists, I think I know AI is going to be the thing that brings virtual reality back to life, but it won't be called virtual reality. It's going to be called digital twins. It's work that's already been done a bunch of times for the government. It's a work that's been done a bunch of times for larger manufacturing companies. People with deep pockets have been experimenting with it for decades. But the piece that makes it much more compelling is adding that AI piece and the continuous stream of data. So if you've got AI is forcing everybody to tag their data, create their data, make metadata, data about data, and then all of your data sits somewhere and you've got it somewhere, right? And so, okay, now everyone's like, okay, now how do you act on that data? Or how do you let your AI act on that data? Well, it's so far, it's all text and it's
Yeah.
all just, telling you do this, do that, do this, here's a new SOP, here's this, that, or the other thing. But if you've got a virtual digital twin, an exact visual replica of the physical work that's being done, or even a metaphoric representation that's more visual, less words, just visual, and you can see product moving around
Yeah.
and see things being done on pieces of equipment, metaphorically, of course, or some sort of image. Now, as the digital twin, all of the things that AI can do, like it can run a bunch of stuff. Like, hey, if we increase production by 10%, what does that mean downstream? And what does that mean investment wise? How much money do we have to put into it in order to get that money out? How much do we charge for it? How many sales orders do we have? Blah, blah, blah. You can run all of these tests on the digital twin and then decide if you actually want to implement it. And then you can, at some point, you'll be able to implement it in the digital twin and push that to the actual physical factory, and it won't be such a huge pain in the butt. So
Yeah.
I think it's super, super important, and training does factor into it. It's really important.
Yeah. Well, and I think the thing that I'd like to see more people asking themselves right now is how can I learn faster? And the reason I say it that way is um, so much of the work that we do can happen at such a higher rate that if we keep putting more input in, we're going to continue to get more output, and that's going to create a lot of noise. But if we're deliberate about the way that we iterate on the amount of input that we put in, the output will continue to get better. And this is be careful about using the language this way, but this becomes the whole thought partner piece. Like we're partnering with the tech to help create that version or vision of the future that we're building. We're building together, not just allowing it to build. And what that will require is more human thinking and intention, not just human doing for the sake of doing. Anyhow.
It's a great point, and it's something I've been thinking about, and I was going to hold off on it today, but I will tease it for tomorrow. It is, if I think this might help people in their understanding or their thinking of how AI impacts it. Right? We talk about the difference between training and learning, and this is something I'm building into a workshop. Right? And the learning happens to each one of us individually, and we can manipulate it, and each individual person can. Us as an industry of professionals trying to develop content to help people learn, that's all we can do. All we can do is create an environment that is conducive for learning to occur. The learning has to occur for the individual separately. So when we're talking about AI and its impact on us, on people, I think we need, as a community, need to start being more clear on the difference between is AI impacting me, the trainer, and what's the difference between it impacting me, the learner, or the people I'm trying to learn, right? Like if people are freaked out about, oh, you should be more interested in your people need to learn, your people need to learn. It's like, oh, your people are learning and your people are going to be able to learn. I mean, this was the whole thing about Google. It's like everybody just Googles things, right? So we as an industry have to change in order to support that new way of workers working, those people we support. AI is no different. It's the same thing, but we have to think about it differently. Look at how we're all having to relearn. So everybody is having to relearn how to do things. So if we separate the training from the learning, the training people from the learning people, the people who have the knowledge, the people who need the knowledge, if we separate how AI is impacting each of those folks, and you can be both, I think it changes the conversation in a very big way. So
make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to get into some detail around that, because I think there's some interesting things, the way that connects to a lot of the concepts and frameworks that are applied on the security side of things. Join us tomorrow morning at 6:00. We will be back here, same bat time, same bat channel, 6:00 in the morning, Arizona time, 8:00 in the morning. For those of you on the East Coast, hope you're not frozen in. I'm frozen, and it was only 42 degrees earlier today. Brent, where can people find you?
Find us on LinkedIn and all the places where you're actually watching this stream, and just reach out to us.
And hit us up in the comments and let us know where you're watching and where you're listening, and what questions come up. And we're going to demonstrate the learning process as we iterate, as we go through this. So you can find your catalyst at findmycatalyst.com. See you all tomorrow. Thanks, everyone.